but help someone think about the fact that the New Testament speaks about the office of deacon, all of us serving. How does that sit alongside the office of elder, pastor, and the congregation? Because some tonight might be going, I've never really understood the concept of how they all work together. Elders, deacons, all wanting to be servants and all part of a congregation. Can you give us a little bit of an overview as to how they all work together?
Yeah, well, if you're listening to this interview and that's a question that's kind of percolating in your mind, then it's a very astute one because you're exactly right. The word for that gets translated as deacon in the New Testament shows up 29 times, and 25 or 26 of those 29 times it's referring just to a servant-hearted person. So usually it shows up in the New Testament translated not as deacon, but as servant or minister, which is descriptive of all Christians. All Christians are called to be lowercase d deacons in that sense. In fact, one of the most famous verses in the Gospels rendered literally is Mark 10:45, for the Son of Man did not come to be deaconed, but to deacon and to give his life as a ransom for many. But of course, I said 25 or 26 out of 29, and that's because there are 3 or 4, depending on how you count it, places in the New Testament where it's clear, given the context, that what the authors have in view is not just a servant, but a church officer. And I'll go ahead and if you want to look at these in more detail later on, we can, but I'll just give them to you. So I would say there's one implicit passage, 2 explicit, and 1 debatable. So the implicit is Acts 6, which is actually the most famous one in relation to deacons. The noun deacon, though, doesn't show up, although the verb does. The 2 explicit passages are Philippians 1:1 and 1 Timothy 3:8-13. And then the debatable passage is Romans 16:1, where Paul talks about Phoebe. And of course, that touches on the debate about may women serve as deacons.